welcome. I'm Peggy, and I'm smiling because we have a special lady here, and she has an outreach to children, to humanity in general. And we're going to talk about, yes, Christmas and the holidays and what you can do with your family, but we're also going to talk about what goes on all year long at Whispering Pines Stables in Malden, South Carolina. They have 25 acres. And Debbie Webster is here with me. I love your blue shirt. And she's here as the owner. And you have an outreach, not just to kids. I mean, you teach riding.
Teach riding lessons for children and adults.
And you have birthday parties and all that, where people, and you have a lot of animals, not just horses.
No, we've got sheep and goats and chickens, and we use all those animals as object lessons to teach life principles and biblical values.
All right, now we're going into all the things you do, but the first thing we want people to know about is this manger scene. There is so much out there that is just has almost nothing to do with the birth of Christ. And so you have something that families can come to and bring the kids and see. I want you to tell us about, what do you call this?
We call it Christmas at the Stables, and we've been doing this about 15 years. And I call it a low budget flick because it's kids wearing bathrobes and bed sheets and towels and things like that.
The story
but when you're dealing with children and animals, sometimes the story can have some extra humor that you never thought you could have, but it is biblically sound, and we want people to know the real reason for the season, and that's to show them the birth of Jesus Christ and let them see it come alive.
And you have a real manger scene and the animals and...
Yeah, we set it up, and they have some pictures that we can look at.
We're going to show those pictures, yes.
We do it 2 Saturdays and a Sunday, and it's the December 7th. That's a Saturday from 6 to 8.
Here we go.
There's the shepherds. You can see there.
Tell us.
That's one of the sheep there with them. The kids, if they're old enough, they get to hold the sheep and the goats, and it's just really neat. There's some of the other shepherds, and the shepherds are watching their fields at night, and then it won't be long, and Mary and Joseph will come by. And I tell people, if you never have seen a donkey, you may or may not. You haven't seen one if you're looking at that one. Sometimes we use the donkey, but sometimes the donkey doesn't want to be obedient as you'd hope she would be. But sometimes she'll make it all the way to Bethlehem, and sometimes it looks like she's going to send Mary into labor a little early. And we always have the angels there, and they are just the most darling kids you ever seen. And sometimes when it's warm, the kids will be wearing, at that age appropriate of 4 and 5 years old, or however old they are when they're doing it, they'll wear these little light-up sandals. And when they go flying around there with those light-up sandals, it's a sight. Oh. And there's Mary and Joseph going past the shepherds out there in the field. And oftentimes we're doing it in our indoor ring. This is done outside, but we can do it rain or shine because we have a big arena that we can do it in.
Okay.
And then they go up into the manger scene, and you can see there where Mary's got baby Jesus in the manger, and the angels. You can see some of the little bitty angels, and the costumes aren't fancy or elaborate, but that just kind of gives the sense of that down home. We're doing the best we can do, and we're trying to show the story like it was, because I don't think Mary and Joseph were all dressed up.
I don't think there was any elaborate costumes there in the
Absolutely,
original.
Absolutely. That's our what I call our Malden camel version, because they don't have camels in Malden too much, so we dress up a horse and just put a hump on his back and
So you have
send
the
him
wise
in.
men.
Have the wise men too, yeah. They got the best costumes,
Okay.
the fanciest costumes. But we have our little gifts that the kings brought, and it's just a neat adventure. And the children that get to see it, they just see the story come alive. And with the children that are performing in it, that is their gift to Jesus for his birthday, is doing the nativity and showing everybody what it looks like, what it felt like, how it happened, and it helps the kids understand the Christmas story better.
So now you welcome all families.
Oh, absolutely. It's a free event. Jesus was a free gift. We're not going to charge for it.
So you can go out there and take your kids and have a really uplifting, wonderful time, and a learning experience as well. And it's free. And I think you've done this for 15 years.
15 years. And we serve hot chocolate, and we give a hayride too, and just put on a big show.
And so you do this on December 7th, 8th, and 14th.
Right.
And so we'll have a website and a phone number, and you can find out particulars because there's certain hours that.
That's right, yeah. On the Saturday nights, it's from 6 to 8. Rain or shine.
You know, if we have a snowstorm, you can still go.
And we tell the story like every 20 minutes, so that way we're not overwhelmed. You know, you just come in, you park, you come on in.
And the children have access to the animals. They can.
Oh, yeah, they're right there next to them. They're right there with the shepherds, and they can touch the sheep and the goats and pet them and have a good look real close, and it's pretty neat. It's like they become part of the shepherds in the field, and they see the whole story come alive. It's pretty neat.
Well, I think this is a wonderful gift that you're giving, and this is in Malden, so
Right.
you know, not too far for
No,
people to go.
it's not too far. It's right off of where Lawrence Road and 385 and 85 and Malden Road. We're right there in the middle, and it takes 15 minutes from anywhere to get there.
Whispering Pine Stables. Now, that is just one small part of what Debbie Webster and her family. You have other family members
Yep.
involved.
My husband works full-time.
all year long.
Yes. Yeah. We don't have any employees, just we work with volunteers, and we've got like 50 horses and a bunch of sheep and goats and all the different animals, the chickens. And
Now, do you board horses?
I do board horses, yes.
Okay. And so people who want to learn to ride or maybe want their children to learn to
Absolutely.
ride, then
We have classes starting as young as 2 years of age and up for Mommy and Me classes. And then we've got the children's riding, we've got the teenagers, we've got a ladies riding class. So anybody that wants to come and learn how to ride, we're there for them.
Now, you have something beyond this. You have a ministry.
Right.
And so tell us about that.
We work with all kinds of kids. We have a therapeutic program where we use the horses and even the other animals, the other farm animals, to be able to help the kids with therapy. Some kids have had problems with relationships, and they have been abused in some way, and so they don't want to have relationships anymore. So when they come in, if oftentimes the mental health agencies will bring these kids in, they have problems, and we'll set up some horses, and I'll do a personality profile on the horses. And this horse may be timid. This horse may be one that's rebellious. This other one may be a people pleaser. And the kids gravitate to the ones that they either want to help or they feel like matches what their emotional distress may be. If we work with kids with emotional problems, with physical problems, with mental problems, and spiritual problems, we have all children that are special needs. Every child has special needs. And so what we try to do is be able to build them up and strengthen them in their areas of weakness.
But you do have programs specifically for children who have been diagnosed or recognized as special needs children.
Yes,
Not
definitely.
just a child who came from a troubled background.
That's exactly right. We have a video of one of our kids that has cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And,
now maybe let's put that back if we could, so people can see what she's talking about.
So this little guy has a hard time walking, and that's actually his dad that is helping him. And we do little games on horses. The horse ends up being a vehicle to the different therapeutic games. These are games that are fun for them. They like riding the horses, they like doing the games, and they build skills. For instance, he needs help with his balance or his core. So being on the horse and the horse moving around and him having to throw a ball, he has to tighten up his core in order to make all this happen. But all he knows is he's trying to throw a ball in a hoop. But he actually is doing therapy that's making him stronger. That's making him better on the horse.
How did you get into, because this is more than just a business. How did you get into all this? Have you always been a horse lady?
Yes, I've always been the horse lady, and I started working with kids. I saw it many, many years ago where kids were, had kind of shattered homes, and I always felt like, for me, the stable was a shelter from life storms, and oftentimes, I think as God designed it, the family was supposed to be the shelter from life storms. But as it is today, oftentimes the family is the storm, and so the kids need a shelter to come to where they feel loved and accepted, and people have time to spend with them. And I always think about 1 Thessalonians 2:8 that said, not only did we love you enough to share the gospel, but we shared our lives with you. And I feel like that kind of describes how we are, because kids come out and hang out with me all day long, especially on Saturdays and during the summer. We have over 1,000 kids that visit us during the summer, between our Bible camps and our horse camps and our VBS.
You have a Bible camp.
In the summertime.
But is this, this is not just one denomination. I mean,
No,
you just talk about the love of God.
Jesus didn't care anything about denominations.
No.
We're all about Jesus. We don't care about all those things that man worked up.
Yeah.
We don't understand all that anyways. We just share the gospel. Talk about Jesus.
And so you have a kind of a Bible study camp for kids?
Correct. And when you get
When
a camp
is
like
this,
that, it's
Debbie?
in the summer. We've got June, July, and August that we do at least one a month, sometimes twice a month, for a week long. And they come in, and we oftentimes we'll start them with the horse camp in the morning and do the Bible camp in the afternoon. And North Greenville College brings their MFuge kids, and we do some big mission projects. And sometimes the way to get kids to open up and talk is to just work them real good. Take them out there and let them paint a fence or clear some brush. And you can, when you're building a fence or painting a fence, there's so many biblical applications that you can talk about making a.
Like what?
Give us an
example.
talk about Psalm 37:3 in the New International Version, and when God tells us that if you trust in the Lord and do good, I will give you a safe pasture. Well, there's an awful lot where you can explain about a safe pasture. What is a safe pasture? Why is a fence a good idea? Some people think fences just keep them from reaching the grass that's greener on the other side, but actually being inside of safe pasture keeps out the predators, keeps you safe in God's world, in God's pasture, and His timing and that kind of thing. So you can talk about that sort of thing with the kids. And talking about being in God's pasture kind of opens the door to talk about the gospel and about being saved. How do you get in God's pasture? Well, you have to submit to what God wants you to do. You have to realize that He's there. You have to realize that He actually wants the best for you. That leads you into Ephesians 2:10, where we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to good works. Then you can share with the different horses that are in the pasture. You got a pony and you got a racehorse. Which one is better? Well, they're both designed intelligently to serve a purpose. A pony is not going to do what the racehorse does, but a racehorse can't put a little handicapped child on top of him and work him safely. So everything has a purpose, and that way kids with different abilities and different strengths and different weaknesses see that they can actually be useful tools in God's hands.
What a marvelous place, Whispering Pines Stables. We're going to a break. We're going to come back because there's lots more that Debbie Webster can share with us. And if you have kids at home, or bring the grandparents, bring everybody, make it a mini holiday, and it's free. And go and take your family to see this manger story. It's a wonderful gift. We'll be right back.